What if you don't need to live in pain and suffering? What if you could give up your karma and have a life of abundance and joy? What if you could start creating magic and miracles that you never thought were possible? Get ready to listen, share, and experience the magic that is you. Now, here's the host of Creating Abundance with Ease radio show, Dr. Helen Gitlevich.
Welcome. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich. I'm Creating Abundance with Ease, and today our show topic is: are you willing to face the waves of your life? How much are you resisting challenges / waves of your life? Right now I'm in Florida with amazing weather, but there's a lot of wind and some waves. So I was swimming the other day, and it was interesting because if I didn't resist the waves, they would just go around me, kind of like under, and it would be fine. But as soon as I started resisting it, or wasn't aware of them, or turned my side or back to them, I would be swept away. It is analogy of our lives. Like, to me, it was kind of like perfect analogy. Think about your problems. If you face them, if you know about them, you know exactly when to move away or when you actually need to stand your ground. There is always a choice of being and doing something different when you're aware, when you're being in your element. When you're kind of like unaware, as I call being stupid, for me, it is being stupid. So I literally get swept away by my problems. What if we don't have to? What if by being aware gives us the tools to play in the waves instead of making them serious, making them significant? I love access consciousness tools, and they are pretty much what they are. Because a lot of people look at access consciousness as something big, something out of, I don't know, some people call it even a cult, which it's not. Access is about tools to empower you to know that you can face any challenge by being you. And now I'm being you facilitator. It also gives me some other tools to look at life differently. And that day when there was a lot of waves, and today actually there is a lot of wind in Florida, kind of like I went out and everything was flying away. And what if it's not a wrongness? What if it's just something to play with? We are so entrained of kind of like having a structured life. And if things out of place, we immediately go into, oh my God, what's going on? I need to rearrange, I need to do things that is by the book. But when waves come in or when wind comes in, it just does what it does. And if we resist it, that's when the problem starts. I love my hair straight, and you've probably seen me on a lot of like shows where I straighten my hair, pretty much like my bangs right now. In Florida, there's no fucking way I can even imagine it. Within about 2 hours, the bangs will be the same way like this here. And in the beginning, again, I resisted. I reacted. It's like, but, 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 I want this. Huh. But what if this is beautiful? What if it is playing with the universe? Because we're so entrained and so love to be in control, right? But what if being out of control is actually creating more? What if being out of control, we're actually co-creating with the universe? Because universe is giving us energy to play with, like the wind, like the waves, like the sand, sometimes in our eyes, but or in our mouth. But what if it's not what we think it is? What if everything is, even the challenges, are something not to overcome, but to melt together, to blend and create something different? Because it was so much fun riding the waves. And I was watching some surfers, how much they're enjoying being on the top of the wave, sometimes being swept by the wave, but it was just fun. What if we look at our lives like that? What if our lives is pretty much that wild ride, like on a surfboard? And even when I got swept by the ocean, yeah, my knee kind of like hurts a little bit, but it was still fun as long as I didn't look at that seriously. And as long as I didn't look at it as a problem. It's easy to look at the waves as fun. It's much harder to look at our lives as fun. But what if we reframe it? What if we actually choose to create or co-create our lives as a big fun surfing game or swimming game that creates more in our lives? And it's about being who we are. I was listening to something today. I don't even remember what it was, but it said, I think it was one of classes that I took either with Dane Hare, or Dr. Dane, or Gary Douglas. And it was about having sense of humor. Because looking at our lives without sense of humor, it's so dreary a lot of times and so kind of like boring. How much are you bored in your life? What is, and how much are you creating the waves, the problems, so you are not bored? Interesting. Just for a second, imagine your life without the waves, which was actually 2 days ago. The ocean didn't have any waves. I was at Key West, and the ocean pretty much was like a mirror surface. There was no wave. There was no challenges to overcome, except maybe little like stones at the bottom. And yet it was so much fun to play in the ocean. Because ocean is always like nature, is always about contribution. Nature is always, always, always contributing and gifting everything nature has without any judgment, without any points of view. The only point of view and judgment is ours. Even about, because nature doesn't have any points of view about, does it have waves, does it not have waves, is it calm, is it stormy, is it raining, is it sunshine? It just is. How much we resist being like nature. how much are we resisting being a contribution in our lives? Because if we are contribution in our lives, just like nature is, and gifting without expectations, can we get bored? Will we actually start creating the problems? No, we would enjoy every moment, every day that we have on this magnificent, beautiful planet called Earth. Just imagine for a second. We are the tiny ants on this planet, which is just a piece of sand in a galaxy of millions, trillions of different suns. We have one little sun, but there are millions of stars, which are actual stars, probably millions of planets. And yet we are concerned with our problems and create them as mountains. Really? Just think for a second. How big is your problem compared to the universe? And can universe help? Yeah, it can. Anytime when we ask, it will contribute because it doesn't have any points of view. Have we been good, bad, ugly, beautiful? Doesn't matter. It contributes and gives to everybody equally. It gives everybody everything. You know who is constricting that flow and not allowing us to receive? Me. Every single one of us. Deciding we don't deserve, deciding something that interferes with the universe gifting us everything. Oh, it's time for our first break of the show. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on the Inspired Choices Network. And when we return, we'll continue to discuss the waves of our lives. Not days of our lives, because that's a show. See you soon.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at inspiredchoicesnetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome forward, everyone. I'm Dr. Helen Gitlevich on creating abundance with ease. And today our show topic is, what are you, interesting. Are you willing to face the waves of your life? And before we went on the show, I kind of did a little blooper, but waves of our lives, days of our lives, and how much of our obsession with TV, with the news, with everything dictates our choices and our lives. Because what sells? Problems. Can a show be totally like free of problems and be fun for people? Well, not really, because we all would like to see the adventure. We would like to see killing. How many of us would be bored when you see everyday life of somebody who didn't have any problems? And how much are we creating those problems based on the idea that our life will be boring, that it would not be interesting? And I remember talking to somebody not too long ago, and she said, if I didn't have problems, what we would talk about? And what if we didn't have to create problems? What if our grand and glorious adventure could be maybe helping somebody, maybe playing with the waves in the ocean, maybe seeing a new place that we've never seen before? I went to Key West yesterday, and I went to Hemingway house, where it was just the energy of that place. It's about his creation. He actually didn't wait for inspiration. He would just go to his study and write, and wouldn't leave it until he wrote, I think, 700 words, which is kind of inspiration to me, because I'm waiting for that inspiration to write a book. Granted, the view from his house is amazing. Granted, he has a lot of cats in the house who's supposed to help you write. And yes, I love the comment from Christine. It's 80% of people change out of pain and only 20 out of pleasure and creation. What if we didn't follow the statistics? How much more can we accomplish from the desires instead of fears? From choice instead of necessity? What if we don't have to change? What if the waves are just the waves of pleasure, waves of orgasm? Let me invite you to something. Connect to the moment in your life when you had the best orgasm that you've decided you ever had. And can be this lifetime or other lifetimes. If you can't remember orgasm, just pleasure. Some pleasure that you experienced. Again, you don't have to know how. Just ask. Okay. And just bring it into your body. Kind of pull it through the earth, through your feet, through your body, and out of your head, and pull it through your head, down into the earth. And expand that. Kind of like make your orgasm big. Maybe a mile in diameter, like a sphere. And just receive from that orgasm or pleasure. And expand that exponentially to the size bigger than this planet. Right now, Dr. Dame here is creating a program as we speak, Wizards, Earth Wizards. And it's a Facebook group, and it's also on Kajabi. He's doing Facebook Lives. I would like us all to connect to our own inner wizard. And you're welcome to join that program because it's free. It's an amazing program. And it's about changing the planet or actually unlocking all the pain and suffering that the planet experienced and creating more for us and the planet. So that's my invitation to that, with just going out even bigger than the planet, bigger than our solar system, and allowing that orgasmic feeling to permeate every cell in your body. How much can you create from that space? And I understand that some people might experience that as pain, because a lot of times, if we are unwilling to experience pleasure, it turns into pain, because that's how our bodies communicate with us. That's how our um, cells, our molecules communicate. It's energy. And if we don't listen to the energy, the intensity goes up. Intensity goes up and up and up until we listen. So what if we don't have to increase intensity? What if our adventure can be just having fun and just looking around and connecting to people, being with nature? Well, connecting to people might be a stretch, because when I went on the tour, there was a lot of people there. And I could perceive all those barriers, all those judgments that people have. And that wasn't fun, at least not for me. And so again, I dropped my barriers and expanded and asked, what contribution can I be to those people who are willing to receive it? Because it's not about giving contribution to somebody who is like, no, not getting it. Don't give me that pleasure. No, this is about giving off energy of what people can receive. They will take it. It's just like the antenna that's broadcasting radio waves. And people who have the radio can listen to it. People who turn the radio off or choose not to have the radio, they will not hear it. How much in our lives we are broadcasting, but we also knock at people's doors saying, can you hear me? Can you listen to me? They're not interested. Just keep broadcasting. But when you knock on somebody's door and they say, I want to hear you, what do? A lot of us stop broadcasting. But what if it's not a kindness to us? Because in order to stop broadcasting, we have to contract. We have to cut our awareness. We have to put the barriers up. We have to put ourselves in a box and squeeze it tight so nobody can see us, including us. What if we don't have to be in a box? What if whatever we have to say is worth saying just because you are who you are? Everybody is unique. Everybody has value. Everybody has something that they can share with the world. We all have magic. But how many of you cut your magic off because somebody could not receive it? Because if you don't, we wait for validation. What if we don't have to? What if we can acknowledge ourselves for the magic we are? How much more can we create if we don't wait for people around us to tell us, here what you are. You are magical. What if you tell it yourself? What if you are that wonderful, magical creature that can just come out of the box and be and play in the waves, even those waves could seem to be so scary and big? What if that's how you learn to swim? Because if we don't step into the water, guess what? You cannot learn how to swim. I remember when I was growing up, one of the expressions that I've learned was the only time a person will not make a mistake when that person doesn't do anything. So how many of you are in the mode of not doing just because you're afraid to make a mistake? And what if there is no mistake in life? Just like jumping on a wave or going under is not a mistake. It's just fun. Just being, enjoying your life to the fullest, without hiding, without jumping in our box. And guess what? When we jump out, we do scare people. Remember that toy Jack in the Box? What if it's not the wrongness to scare people? Because a lot of people like us small and likes to kind of like keep the lead on us so we don't jump out. And it's time for our second break of the show. And you're listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich, on the Inspired Choices Network. And when we return, we'll continue to discuss our topic. Are you willing to face the waves of your life? We'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Magic and abundance are everywhere. What if you could tap into abundance and start creating your life with complete and total ease? Working with Dr. Helen Gitlevich will give you exactly that, total ease in creating abundance in your life. Dr. Gitlevich creates classes all over the world, both in person and online. She works with you to create abundance with your money, with your body, with your relationships, with all areas of your life with total ease. Connect with Dr. Helen Gitlevich at creatingabundancewithease.com. Her contribution in your world will be a noticeable gift in a very short period of time. This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Okay, it's interesting how I got muted in the beginning of the show. I mean, in the beginning after the break. So welcome forward, everyone. I'm Helen Gitlevich from Creating Abundance with Ease, and today our show topic is: are you willing to face the waves of your life? And how often do we get muted? As we talked before the break. Wow, I cannot even talk right now. No wonder I was muted. So when we try to get out of the box, people try to push us back and mute us and not allow us to be who we are. And that's part of the waves of life. What if you still look at that as just another challenge, another fun thing, and jump out and scare everybody in your life? What would that create in your life? So what is that one thing in your life that creates the most challenge? Look at that and let's play with that. One of the tools of being you is looking if things are true or not. And if you look at something and expand, it kind of gives you an idea. So look at the problem, but don't look at the person as a problem, because the person is real. Look at the problem itself. And let's expand it. Let's think of it as a balloon and expand that balloon, like inflate it, and see how fast that balloon will explode or disappear. That's how you know that the problems are lies. What if it is just a lie? What if all your problems are lies? Because the analogy of waves, do you know that waves do not move? They just go over and over and over. It's the same wave standing still. The wave is only on the surface. In the ocean, it's stillness. And yet the waves create so much devastation if we resist it. So how much our life, creating those waves, we can still be still inside. Just look at that for a second. Look at your life as an ocean, like you as an ocean. Because we are dropped in the ocean and at the same time the ocean itself. So look at that. If we had that calmness of the ocean inside, in depths of us, would the waves bother us? Because the waves that even in the ocean are created by external forces, by the wind, by the difference in pressure, by something else. Does the ocean react to that? No. The ocean is still inside. And the waves don't move. They just create that motion that kind of like one wave transmits to the next and then the next and the next, and then eventually it ends up on the shore. How much can we create using the energy of our own waves without the judgment that it's a problem? Because a lot of times we stop ourselves because we're afraid to hurt somebody. And I remember when I was married, I've been divorced for a while, but when I was married, I remember my husband was afraid to hurt me. So he wouldn't tell me certain things. He would keep certain things away from me so I don't get upset until it created like a big problem. it wasn't what he, like the information did not hurt me. It was the way it presented it, like he was holding it back, lying. That was the waves that created the problem, not the stillness underneath. Because if he would just say something out, that would not hurt me. I would like, okay, so how can we deal with it? What we can create with that? But instead, holding back created that huge wave, because it's pretty much like the barrier in the ocean. Because if the ocean cannot move freely, it will break the barrier. Same thing in our lives. If somebody creates a barrier, there's always that energy of mistrust, the energy of something is off. And then we actually don't trust ourselves because the other person tells us, no, 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 that's not like it. That's what gaslighting is. And how many of you have been gaslighted because another person didn't want to hurt you, or you didn't want to hurt another person? And truly, can you really hurt another person? No. The only person that can hurt us is ourselves. And we are the ones that allowing other people to hurt us. And that's what creates the difference. Because if we look at life as outside force, as something that we don't have any impact on, and feel so powerless, can we create anything in our lives other than problems? No. Our points of view create our reality, and that's according to access consciousness, according to Gary Douglas, and according to other modalities as well. It's about, if we think about something, we create it. I love the famous expression, abracadabra. When I was younger, I was doing a lot of Kabbalah. And that's when I learned that abracadabra actually means something. It's a translation from Hebrew. I probably will butcher it, but the gist of it, the meaning of it is, I create as I speak. Magic that we are, magic that we create in life, is based on that. I create as I speak, abracadabra. And we can create gibberish, fears. We can create out of fear of problems, out of fear that we would be dominated, or allowing other people to dominate us and choosing other people's points of view. Or we can create from fun and pleasure, and it's about being who we are, being who we choose to be without any point of view. Just like ocean. What if we can be like nature? In the moment, create a hurricane. In the moment, have stillness. And how much did we decide that it is a wrongness when there is a hurricane? And it's a rightness to have the stillness. No, neither one of them is right or wrong. It's just what is. It's just a choice. What if you don't have to have a reason and justification of choosing something? What if it's just being? And as we talk about, we are infinite beings in infinite embodiment, and we are connected to everything. And people say, no, I'm not connected. I'm just this body. Wait a second. Our body has multiple layers and levels of energy. One of them is aura, energetic body. And everybody saw pictures. And some people's aura go 6 to 10 feet out, and some people 70 feet out, or maybe even 100 feet out, depending on which state you are. Not state of America, but in the space or state of being. If you're vibrating very high, the high vibration of love and joy, your aura increases tremendously. That's why when you're in the presence of somebody who is happy, you're getting happier. Even if you're far away from them, you're kind of like getting the vibes. And when somebody is depressed, you don't want to come close to them. So what if it's just a choice? And we have a question here, I guess. What do we do to come out of the waves of what's going on, this reality right now? And yes, right now, with lots of countries going on lockdown, lots of states going on lockdown because of second wave of COVID. And it's about choice. What do we choose? There are some rules and regulations that we can follow. But what if we can still be happy? And it's our third and last break of the show. And you've been listening to Creating Abundance with Ease with myself, Dr. Helen Gitlevich on Inspired Choices Network. And when we return, we'll talk more about how to come out of waves of this reality right now. And we'll be right back.
Many of us live our lives based on karma, on the past, and all the unfinished business in our lives. What would you choose if you did not have karma, or if you could choose what you desired instead? By tuning into Creating Abundance with Ease radio show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich, you'll receive tools and inspiration you can use to create the abundance in your life. You are an infinite being with infinite choices. Are you ready to have ease with creating abundance? Listen for Creating Abundance with Ease radio show every Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
This is the Creating Abundance with Ease show with Dr. Helen Gitlevich. To participate in the program, join our live studio audience in our chat room at InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to helen.g@att.net. Now, back to the program.
Welcome. I'm Helen Gitlevich on Creating Abundance with Ease. And today our show topic is, are you willing to face the waves of your life? And right before we went on the break, there was a question in the chat. How do we come out of the waves of what's going on in this reality right now with all the countries locking down, a lot of people getting sick? It's about asking questions, because a lot of times we are so used and entrained by this reality to go into conclusion. This is the way it is, and that's how it is. Number one, they did a lot of studies with people who are happy, who are vibrating at a higher level of energy vibration. And you remember the scale of energy vibration when we're talking about all the emotions like sadness, depression, they're very low. Love, joy, happiness are extremely high, and the difference is depression might be 5 and love is 500. So they did a test. I think they took a guy and injected him with bacteria, E. coli specifically, and he did not get sick. I'm not saying please go and expose yourself. Being in the question, always asking a question. If I do this, what will that create? You choose. Like, I'm not exposing myself for no reason, and yet I'm traveling, I am facilitating classes. I did not stop my life. And yet, I always ask, will it create greater? And if yes, I go. I don't go into places where people are sick. That's insane. And right now, when I come home, I will be in 14 days of isolation. I will protect people in case if I did catch it. And I'm not afraid of COVID. I'm not afraid of getting sick. Even if I die, it's a choice. What if death is not a wrongness? But the more we are afraid of death, the more we resist it, the more it can swipe us just like a wave. But if we don't resist it, it might pass. It's about always being a question, never going into conclusion, always asking, okay, what do I do next? I'm actually enjoying quarantine when I am in quarantine, because I already been in quarantine after I came back from Spain, and it was actually fun. I just relaxed, did lots of classes online, and it created something different. What if you look at social isolation instead of like looking at it as an isolation? What if you can connect to people online, virtually, and create a different reality? What if it's not something bad and awful? What if we don't resist it and just allow it to pass like anything else? Because there were diseases before, there will be diseases after. The government reaction to this virus, maybe it's something that needs to be. And just follow, like, I cannot tell you not to follow the guidelines of your country, because what if that's what creates the greatest for you in the country? And yet, always ask questions, always be in a question, always allow yourself to know what you know, because that's pretty much a given. You know much more. Just allow yourself to be with that. And the more you resist COVID, the more it persists. What if you stop resisting to anything? And I mean it, including virus, including death, including problems. What if you just be aware and chose accordingly? And it's actually interesting because I'm doing a free Zoom on December 19th. How much are you refusing to be you? Because that's exactly what we're talking about. When you refuse to be you, you resist and react to everything around you. What if you didn't? What would that create in your life? Just join me and let's have that conversation in person. Also, there is a book club that's on Being You book that's starting today, actually, November 18th, and going through 3rd of February, and it will be done by all the facilitators. Being You classes, including me. I think I'm doing chapter 3 on December 2nd. And I'm doing Being You adventure one day, intensity of being. So how much are you refusing the intensity of being you by resisting everything around you? And the more you resist, the more waves will come. You know that, right? Because whatever you resist persists. And we have only a few minutes left in the show. And with all of that's going on in the world, how can we still stay happy? And as I said, one of the things that I choose is drop my barriers and expand. I was on the bus yesterday, and people were tired, and some of them had good times, some of them didn't. And I could perceive all those waves of depression, some waves of anger, some waves of stuff that's there. And I'm like, what do I do? And I expanded. Drop my barriers. It's kind of counterproductive. You think of that as, wait a second, if I drop my barrier, I will be at the effect of it. No, it's actually the opposite. When you resist it, that's when you're effect of it. When you don't, it just washes over you, just like a wave. And just allow it to be. And suddenly I was like, okay, that doesn't bother me. I'm bigger than that. And just for a couple of minutes that we have here, just expand for a second and drop your barriers and look at your problems. How much smaller are they now that you're expanded? And how much easier is it to deal with them? Just allow that. Just saying, you're bigger than that. Remember that expression? When I was kind of like crying and doing stuff as a kid, my mom always said, you're bigger than that. And I'm like, but I'm not. That's when we play small. I'm not bigger. That's a lie. We all are bigger than our problems. We all bigger than anything in the universe. We are infinite. And it's just a choice to contract and put yourself, cut yourself and mutilate and package yourself in the box. So that's my invitation to you. Jump out of your box and scare everybody and start creating the waves instead of being the effect of the waves. Just be that and allow yourself to live in a world of that you create, in a space that you be, in a space of love, gratitude, abundance, and just choose to be you. What if it's just a choice? And next week, it's going to be penny for your thought, dollar for your feelings. Same time, same place. And we'll see you soon. Don't forget to breathe, because that's the energy of life. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Creating Abundance with Ease radio show. Dr. Helen Gitlevich will return next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have fun using the tools of the week in your life and start creating magic in your life and your body. Thank you for choosing to listen to Creating Abundance with Ease radio show. Dr. Helen Gitlevich will return next Wednesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 11 a.m. Central, 10 a.m. Mountain, and 9 a.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, have fun using the tools of the week in your life and start creating magic in your life and your body.